Bear with me 2 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to get both of these up and running ASAP. I'm trying to get my cast box, so we've got it, you know, an even shout for people that are driving. They might want to listen to cast box rather than a YouTube episode, so they can pay attention to the road. If you've got YouTube on your screen, it might put you off your driving. So we're just going to get live here, and we'll commence. Usually it's the other way around. I usually run the cast box before the YouTube channel. I just want to say happy Sunday, the 10th of October, second Sunday of October. A bit slow off the mark there. It's a capital P in proclamation, capital P in politics. It's a capital P in productive, capital P in progression, capital P progressive, capital P in punctual, capital P in persuasive, capital P in persuasion, capital P in propaganda, and it's a capital P in professor, the prodigious, the prominent Professor Johnson here today. We've got live, so much to talk through. We've got load of incidents within UK car incidents. I do want to give people guidance for using the roads, especially youngsters under the influence of alcoholism, narcotics, sleep deprivation, possibly lorry drivers as well, possibly lorry drivers. And also I want to talk about non-essential travelling to town centres, non-essential travelling to town centres. Get a bus. Why not commute, get a bus? I helped build with my last firm that I used to work on about, I can't remember how many years ago, about maybe 8 years ago. We built the park and ride. Built the park and ride just before Culture Night Football Stadium. Park and ride's going to the town centre, so tourists can come in and go to the town centre, and or even go to the tourist attractions such as First Sight, such as Colchester Castle. Many great landmarks, even lots of Roman built, and there's army history here as well. So many lovely buildings to visit. I don't know if many people have seen Minories. It's quite tucked away. It's in the town centre. I strongly advise it. If you're very creative like myself, there are obviously there's some main theatres in Colchester as well that you might want to visit. Colchester Castle has got most of the amenities for everybody. Colchester Castle's got you got McDonald's, you got Aqua Springs, you got the swimming pool, it's got gym, leisure, sports field, skate park. Colchester Castle itself is it's got like, I think there's some. I haven't actually been in Colchester Castle. I need to go and visit and have a little look. They've got a lot of history surrounding Colchester Castle. I know that much. So probably that's what it's like inside, I should imagine, with a creative, you know, looking for a creative lens, such as I make moulds of things. I carve animals. I carved Nelson Mandela's foot the other day just for the sake of carving a foot. And Nelson Mandela was a magnificent prime minister. He was put in a Robben Island for treason many years ago. But yeah, phenomenal. For what he got the rights back for the black community in Africa and throughout the world. He travelled throughout the world, which is phenomenal. Give us a right. I'm class myself as mixed, so yeah, I'm part of that. That what he put through, absolutely. We're white, was it black had to sit on the back of the bus. They're treated like peasants. Absolutely, it was. You see it throughout America. On all those years. Treated as different as humans. It's horrific. Even Tommy Robinson, when he set up that EDL group against Muslim culture, then you look at the history. Hang on, we had 2 million Muslim soldiers in the First World War. Come on, do the maths. He's wearing all his designer clothes on his mobile phone that was made from the BAME community. The guy is off his trolley. That's what I say. I always say, Fadusha Khatum Bakam. The world is one big family. Absolutely. Zero hatred amongst anyone. Do you know what? I don't hate my ex-wife. much I'd love to, put the hate dog on her, I don't actually hate her. The only thing that upsets me is not seeing my beloved children. Well, not good for good, valid reason. And so anyway, this is what I do most days. If I'm not on the screen, I'm in my tuition 7 days a week. I go to church. I try and look after myself. This is my house. You got to look after myself. I'm like a housewife to myself at the moment. I can't go far. I'm not one of those to go socialising anyway. Like the unusual inhumane society. I've grown with wisdom and years since 2000. From 2018 to 2019, I made drastic measures in change. I was working a hotel assistant manager in 2018 to 2019. I started to do all my adult learning, working with the transport sector, grant chaps. I was doing my YouTube channels. I was doing all my videos, trying to get me where I'm today, sitting today. I feel like I haven't drifted away from what I was doing. I feel like I've built a massive platform that everyone will come and subscribe and think this guy is phenomenal. Even though he had all the odds against him, he's come back, he's fought better, and he's made the change, like huge make change. I'll give you all the adult learning direction courses that you can make change to better your well-being. We need more medical staff. So people that are listening, why don't you set up a small community on Facebook? We need more medical staff. Put children in that direction rather than thuggism. Thuggism. We're going to use that word, thuggism. You can use the word thuggism rather than push your children to that sort of society. Why don't you push your children to be a good Samaritan, be a medical advisor? That's Superman. That's a Superman that you want your child to be, to save lives. Trouble is, a lot of families are so hard done by because they haven't done so good in society. They don't care about their children's well-being. You want the best for your child. I want the best for mine. Even if I don't see them, if they hear this message, I want the best for everyone's children, not just my own, everyone's. Don't push them in the wrong direction in life. Why? Might turn them into a criminal because you don't care. You should show that you care. Anyway, do not enter your vehicle under the influence of alcoholism, narcotics. Make sure you and the passenger's got seatbelts adjacent to the car seat, and babies have adapters adjacent to the car seat. Check your engine oil, water coolant tank, make sure it's topped up maximum level. Make sure you've got enough petrol to reach destination from A to B. And don't forget to put extra in, because you get congestion, road closure, or lane closed, or you could be diverted for miles. So always put that extra fuel in your tank. Don't think, my reserve tank has got X amount, because if the lane's closed, you might have to drive 40 miles out your petrol limit, and you've only got 30 miles in your reserve tank. Well, you should have, depending on the make and model of a car, I don't know, but usually about 30 miles on the reserve tank. Make sure your MOT and tax is updated. Check your tyres, PSI limits, make sure they're not bold. And try not to eat or look on your mobile phone while driving. I know some really, really etiquette people that work in a lot of industries, and because they're so, like myself, they look at the phone. They're so etiquette. They go to church, they do everything right by the book, but then they're on their mobile phone. They're on their mobile phone. You think you're such a great guy, and such a great guy for business, but on your mobile phone, I only take one little slip, little ever. Like they say, no one's picture perfect, but that could be a cause of an incident. That could be a statement. No matter how, like I was saying, that you can't judge a person by the book. But I look at the bigger picture. He's a good community stand-up human being. Doesn't smoke, doesn't drink. Goes about his job from 9 till midnight sometimes. I'm not gonna put names on the picture I'm painting here, because it's not the thing I do. But there's a lot of people that do that. So many people do that. Don't answer the phone while you're driving. Leave it. Wait till you stop. Call them back. It's no big deal. Don't smoke while you're driving. Try not to eat while you're driving. Pull over and lay by. What's the rush? Unless you had to get something to eat because of hospital reasons or whatever. I don't know. But you need a good valuable reason to do it. Just don't try and avoid it if you can. Anyway, Church Road, construction. Tempe traffic signals due to construction on Church Road both ways between A133 Colchester Road and Bricklayers Arms Pub. 17th of September. So it's still there. It's still there, ladies and gents. Because I see it now, it's still there. 6th of September. Tempe traffic signals. Construction due to construction at A134 Magdalen Street at Aldi. Still there. Still, I'm not sure what they're doing there. I don't know if they're boarding in the roundabout, or I'm not quite sure. I go past it when I go visit my mum. I don't actually pay attention to what's actually going on. Tempe traffic signals due to construction on B1257 Butlers Lane between A120 Mo West and B184 Woodlands Roundabout. This is all south east of England at the moment. I'm going to give you a scatter from all over the UK because I might bring some more interest in. A lot of roadworks. I don't want roadworks. You look at incidents. Incidents is a different story. We can look in Greater London, just past that. Luton, which is talking about. He's only just talking about Mr. Robinson, EDL, Gavin. Road closed on A5. Tommy Robinson, sorry. A5. Road closed. Traffic coping well. Accident investigation work. Road closed due to accident investigation on A5 both ways between A4 146 McDonald's roundabout and A4012 Leighton Road. Traffic is coping well following a serious accident near the Flying Fox roundabout, affecting traffic heading between Dunstable and Milton Keynes. Milton Keynes, isn't that peculiar? That's where my university is. A114, road closed, police incident, traffic code well, detail in operation. Road closed due to police incident on A114 Upton Lane, both ways between Grewton Road and Whiteville Road. Traffic is coping well. Detour in operation. Bus route affected. 325. The road has been closed since Friday evening. This is reported at 7:15 p.m. 8th of October. I'm going to give out a Croydon shout out as well. South, west or east of London, because they've got an east Croydon as well. It's pretty much bang in the south, but you have got an east and west of Croydon. A232 queuing traffic is in the construction. Queuing traffic on A232 Croydon Road, both ways around 5 Elms Road. The construction of temporary traffic lights are in operation. 10th of October, 8:30 this morning is reported. Give one up in Birmingham. We're going to move on in a sec, guys. I just want to give a bit of acknowledgement for all the listeners who can listen from all over the globe. So we go northwest Birmingham, A4123, queuing traffic on A4123, New Birmingham, round eastbound between Regent Road and Tower Road, 10th October 2021. First reported at 12 p.m. I fought in Nam. That's one thing I'll tell my kids. I fought in Nam. Birmingham, not Vietnam. Hello, Mardy. How you doing? We'll take your call, Mardy. Let me just get a couple of these out of the way and we'll have a discussion. Please just give me 5 minutes, Mardy. If that's how you pronounce your name. Give me 5 minutes. You can call in. It'd be lovely to have a discussion. I really appreciate anyone that wants to call in. It makes the show up, and I appreciate everybody coming on board. Listen to this. This is what you're gonna like this, ladies and gents. You really are gonna like this. Channel crossings. More than 1,100 migrants cross in 2 days. Is it the Afghans that are coming in for safety? Let's find out. Border Force intercepted more than 160 boats off Dover in Kent in September. 40 small boats with 1,115 migrants on board have crossed the channel in 2 days, the Home Office has said. On Saturday, Border Force picked up 491 migrants on 17 boats, while the French authorities prevented 114 people from making a crossing. On Friday, 624 crossed on 23 boats, with 300 more being stopped by the French authorities. In September, more migrants crossed than any other previous month since the crisis began. Some 3,879 migrants made the crossing in September. More than 18,000 people have made the crossing from France to England in small boats so far this year, compared to just over 8,460 in 2020, according to the Home Office figures. On Saturday, the French Interior Minister, Gerald Darmanin, visited Calais to see what was being done to try and stop migrants crossing the English Channel by boat. In July, a £54 million deal was announced between the UK and France, which would see France doubling the number of police patrolling its beaches to stem the number of migrants crossing. Home Secretary Priti Patel recently threatened to withhold the funding unless more people were stopped for reaching the UK. That's the thing. You give a money incentive, you pass it over, they're not going to do the job. Michael Sandel, I mean, it's just common sense. Michael Sandel was talking about that, wasn't he? Michael Sandel said, if you give someone a cash incentive, they'll work for it. Meaning the children would, the children have to work, but not necessarily they'll do the work. But if you give them the money, they're not going to do the work. They're going to make out they've done the work. So keep hold of the money till they do the job. Simple equation. If you're going to offer money, it's what you could get if you've done the job properly. We'll give you, a token gesture now to show that to get you to do the job. If you want paying the full amount, do the job. We'll pay you bit by bit for the amount of people you stop. Now we've got all these migrants coming into our lives, risking lives. A Home spokesman said 89 people on board 5 boats had also made the crossing on Thursday. He said this year, record numbers of people have put their lives in the hands of ruthless people, smugglers, and risked malicious channel crossings from French beaches. Joint cooperation and the French has led to nearly 300 arrests, 65 convictions, and prevented more than 13,500 crossings, but with hundreds still risking their lives and making the crossing. All sides must do more. The English Channel is one of the most dangerous and busiest shipping lanes in the world. Many migrants come from some of the poorest and the most chaotic parts of the world and may ask to claim asylum once they're picked up by the UK authorities. Or, people might guide them into homeless shelters. They're going to say, I've got no idea, got nowhere to go. Someone like me or yourself, vulnerable people to these. It's not our job, is it? It's not our job to say you're not allowed here. But if they can't, you're going to feel sorry for anyone. It's fascist if you don't look after them. Well, excuse me, I've got nowhere to live. They'll go, I'm kicked out, whatever. Perhaps they might not even speak English, so you won't be able to help them. But if they did come up to you, you're not going to be fascist towards them because you get arrested. Definitely not. And if you give them a hand to get ID and whatnot, you're made accountable for helping them. Marty, if you want to call in, please do. Please call in if you want. Mental health as well, supporting people with mental health. I'm a big advocate for mental health. You need to keep your mind busy, do something therapeutic. Do you know what I do? In times of, I would call it anger. It's not anger, it's antagonisation. If someone, you got this part of your mind that someone can antagonise, and that's what makes you switch. As soon as someone hits the antagonisation switch, that's when you boil the kettle, isn't it? When you fire start the car, that's when someone antagonises you. Thank you all for joining Proclamation and Gatherence. Absolutely overwhelmed. Supporting mental health, absolutely. People in the struggle, food deprivation, homelessness. Some of you homelessness might be on the street with your phone. I know that happens because I've seen my friends, not my friends, people I used to advocate for. I used to support them, look after them, used to feed them. And I used to try and help them get ID. a lot of people in home insurance didn't have ID. They couldn't get universal credit. They couldn't get the support they need to better their well-being. I've moved on for that life. I've been in the soul of the deprivation of the world. I'm gonna be out campaigning, also campaigning for innate parents, because you can get yourself that low and join them very bad deprivation societies. A lot of men in home insurance, you can't always paint pictures. Some young lads in home insurance will put their girlfriend in a because when you first have a baby, because you're not going to get a two-bed place straight away. They get put in a bedsit. So the bloke, being the man on the house, will put himself in a home insurance till they, till they give him a two-bedroom place, which is applicable for man and woman and baby. That's what a lot of men do. So they do live in a home insurance to get himself. Plus, it gets himself on a ladder of getting sorted into business, perhaps. Holiday airline, looking a bit of, yes, we've got an economy spin here. We want to get the economy moving. So we've got Jet asking to borrow money, this is good debt. This is a good debt. 2 billion deal. Holiday airline Jet2 orders 15 more Airbus planes in a 2 billion deal. Do you know why the government couldn't say no? Because it's to provide more tourists, for people to go on holiday, to come in and to go out. It's a must win-win situation. More people buying holidays, it can account for more flights. So the government cannot say no to these companies for this resurrection of money. The money cash boost for the company. The Leeds airline new order with Airbus follows the first link up with the manufacturer in summer. This is what you call good debt. So I want to say about bad debts, you go and buy your clothes or car. Car's not necessary. I don't think a car's a necessity. You don't need a car. You don't need a car. Even if you've got a family. Although getting transport with a family is quite expensive. You don't need a car, but I'll tell you what I could do with a car. I could do with a car for medical reasons for myself, and so I can help my family easier. To help my mum and dad, I need to get on the road ASAP. Anyway, holiday airline Jet2 has boosted its links with Airbus with a 2 billion deal for 15 aircrafts from manufacturer. In August, the Leeds airline operator placed its order within the plane maker for 36 A321neos, a deal that demonstrated its ambition for growth and fleet expansion. Now the company has announced to shareholders a second deal, an agreement with Airbus to purchase a further 15 Airbuses A321neo aircraft. The order also has the flexibility to extend up to 60 aircraft, taking the overall deal value to around 10 billion. Although Jet2 said it has been given discounted prices. I had two dreams as a kid. I wanted to be a pilot or be something in the media. Be something within the media. That's why I've done media studies. Media studies, when you get to that point of puberty, when you get into that point of adulthood, that's my first choice. Media studies, be something in media. And I'll get back to it in my latter years. Wings for the planes will be made at Airbus Broughton in North Wales. In a short announcement, Jet2 said the additional 15 aircraft will be delivered between 2026 and 2029, and the terms of the agreement are substantially the same as those approved by the board for the initial 36 firm aircraft orders. At current list prices, these additional 15 aircraft represent a total value of approximately 2 billion, with a total transaction value for up to 75 aircraft of approximately 10.1 billion. Though the company has negotiated significant discounts from the list price. The company will retain flexibility in determining the most favourable method of financing the aircraft, which will be through a combination of internal resources and debt. Following the signing of the first deal in August, Christian Shearer, Chief Commercial Officer and Head of Airbus International, said, "We very much welcome Jet2.com's decision." It's going to be a short break, guys. This show is going to be a long show. I'm going to put leave Boris in the background. He's just going to, not that he's in my, don't think for 1 minute you car spot listeners. He's in my bedroom while I'm on my radio. He's probably in number 10 with his wife, sitting down dining. Who knows? Yeah, I like to pray something of Boris. He's our Prime Minister at the moment. Let's have a look.
This High Parliament isn't working for you. Why would it? They've been arguing amongst themselves for 3 long years. Now they're arguing about arguing. Arguing just for the sake of it. And their arguments have crept into your life, crept into your work, crept into your family. Their endless arguments have frozen our country, stopped us focusing on the things that really matter. You matter. Your vote matters. With your vote, you decide. Do you stop the arguing or let it carry on? End the argument. Stop the chaos.
I'll talk about it in a minute.
Vote Conservative.
Definitely need to talk about it.
Get Brexit done. Get all of this done. And move on. Vote Conservative on Thursday. Get Brexit done.
Yeah, ladies and gents, I like to be a bit of I want people to come and vote Conservative, absolutely. The reason being, which, you listen to them things and give their perspective for their opinion of why you should get involved in politics. Not to get involved with the armament, but you do need to back the priority of the government. They've been there for generations, absolutely generations. Maurice Macmillan, Howard Wilson, all the generations of Conservative government. It's been going for decades before. It was the first formed government. People like to try new things, but it's traditional. Why wouldn't you want traditional values? Well, except it's not like they're with Conservatives. You got to remember, it's not like they're a cultural organisation of only one cultural organisation. We've got the BAME community all in tow. I'm sitting here, for starters, shouting out the good values of Conservative. Neo Libson, we've got Rishi Sunak, Priti Patel, all the wonderful creations of God are in the Conservative Party. Absolutely phenomenal. The jobs they do day in, day out. People don't realise what their jobs they do. They've done 4 academic years in university. They're working in offices for, I think Patel sort of the isn't she the Treasury Minister now or something? I can't remember. I can't even remember. But she's also works with migrant control, as far as I'm aware. There you go. They're all doing their job within their constituent. There we go. I can go the growth and development of Grand Chow. I don't want to go straight onto this, the Grand Chow, because we're going to go onto it, but I want to give you my perspective of Grand Chow. In China, know yourself, it's a massive globalization country. It's so big that I feel is the world's experiment in China. For our future, what our future could hold. Maybe we're going to be like China in years to come. Buildings on top of buildings on top of buildings. China is so polluted industrialization. Grand Chow is the main place. The most polluted place in the world is Guangzhou by industrialisation. You walk through there with a white shirt, you come out grey. You come out grey. There's so much industrialisation, pollution there. They've got so many factories of making, well, we know, making phones, watches, all that kind of stuff. They're very skilled in that mechanism. That's what we need to focus on: skilled doctors, skilled nurses. We need to focus on, we're having to get people from overseas here to do the job. I don't think there's not many homegrown medical British citizens. They're coming, well, they are in the end because they're coming over. We have to get the skilled people from abroad to come here. We need to get them home through primary schools. Not push them, but direct them into that sort of job. Our families, our mum and dads. Rather than become, a market society, do something that you will loathe eventually, all through life. Don't become a market society. What are you going to achieve? You can achieve something for a short amount of time till your limbs give out. I don't wish, no, because I've had an eventful life. I'm not going to say I didn't wish I'd done this, didn't wish I'd done that. I've had an eventful life. I'm still here. I'm still getting involved. I'm still enjoying it. Not to the best of my abilitations, quite admittedly. Anyway, we're going to play a video. How does this video account for Guangzhou's rapid development? We've got a list, right? How does this video account Guangzhou's rapid development? We select all that apply. We've got A, globalization, B, the migration of people from the countryside to the city, or C, investment in large infrastructure projects such as the underground train system. I know the answers because I've done it.
Over the past 2 decades, the city of Guangzhou in southern China has seen incredible growth of population and production. Hundreds of new apartment blocks and residential areas have been built, and its urban area is now more than twice the size of London. It has a brand new financial district, shiny new shopping malls, and a newly extended state-of-the-art metro system.
中国的这个发展是很容易解释的，因为首先是一个是全球化，那就是全球的资本都在形成一个生产
You're not going
生产成本
to speak in their
希望
language.
能够推动他们的经济
You're not going to understand it.
发展。应该可以说，我们现在
China has become the global manufacturing house. Hang on, I'll start again. I'll read it out to you. I forgot about that. I'll read it out to you.
Over the past 2 decades, the city of Guangzhou in southern China has seen incredible growth of population and production.
I didn't think about that. When the people in the business owners talk, they're not British. They're in Guangzhou, so they speak Chinese. I think China's development is easy to explain. The first reason is globalization. At that time, global capital needed low cost to promote economic growth. So it's like borrowing money. China has become a global manufacturing house. It's carved out a huge share in the industry. So China's development was made possible by globalization and the opportunities in manufacturing. Those opportunities enabled us to convert vast areas of land and cheap labour into the making of products and to sell these products to the rest of the world.
The growth in manufacturing industry, initially largely for exports, led to a
We've all had a fair share crack at the, like, you remember, science, technology, doing welder, soldering, all that kind of thing. They probably pushed all our sort of English people out of the way of that, because I don't think there's much of it in England. It's mainly come from China. So it's like, as they're saying, leave it to the Chinese people. They're more, they're built into that industry from day one. They go. It's like now technicians are usually Chinese. Before I came here, I only saw the city on the train when I was passing by. But over the past few years, I can see it's really getting better. There are new bridges, new highways, and more people have come here. Every morning, there are lots of people on the underground. It's so crowded.
To cope with this growth of population and to keep up with other major cities in China, Guangzhou embarked on a rapid program of building for which money needed to be raised.
Guangzhou began an urban development strategy in 2020. There were two key elements at that time. The first was called re-industrialization. The second was called land development increased because of this space expansion. The money raised from selling land largely supported Guangzhou financially.
But in order to raise money from selling land, designated farmland needed to be rezoned as land for business and residential use.
If a city expands, it must go into the countryside, rural land, urban land. We have a unique political system here in China. There are two types of land. One in a state-run land, one in collectively run land, which belongs to the countryside. The government has a clear rule that collectively run land can only be used for farming. If it's used for construction, it needs to become state-run. The Prime Minister gave a specific permission to sell the land to get money. I'm not going to read all that, but yeah. So how does the video account for Guangzhou's rapid development? For globalization, the migration of people from the countryside. Exactly what he just said. Invest in large infrastructure projects such as the underground train system. Again, that's a good debt. They're going to get it from the government because it's producing more, economic flow of people coming in out of the city, buying, selling. So the government cannot refuse these big companies the money that they need. Why did the city of Guangzhou borrow money? To fund the development of urban infrastructure such as roads, housing, and sanitation. To profit from the attractively high interest rates from its creditors were changing. To get tax relief on the debt repayment to the IMF. I think it's A. Yes, it is. For the development of infrastructure. Benefits of the model of growth. So, if building infrastructure, there's going to be more jobs. The problems with the model of growth. Inequalities between the richer and poorer sections of society. Benefits of the model of growth. Greater opportunities for one's children. Problems with model of growth is pollution. Benefits of the model of growth. Access to leisure and consumer facilities. Problems with the model of growth. Increases taxes and living costs. Benefits of model of growth. Better housing. Problems with this model of growth. Changes in family structure. Better housing. It can become better around, better for, say you got a son and daughter, same age in the same room. They're going to get in each other's nerves. But you get better housing, more quality space for children to have their own study room. Start getting better grades at school. They've got more space. They can do what they want. They've got time to be creative in their room, enjoying life, learning to be an adult by themselves at a young age before they go out in the real world. But by your good guidance as a parent, of course, I'm sure that you're all doing a good job. Debt in China. Rapid development of China is in part a response both increase in industrialization, such as the growth in manufacturing consumer products, and increasing urbanization. This is people moving into cities from rural areas to work in factories to encourage and to continue to stimulate growth in these areas. Governments in China have incurred debt at both local and national levels. In a city such as Guangzhou, new buildings, roads, shopping centres and other features of urban infrastructure have been constructed on borrowed money as an investment in the city's future prosperity. In addition to the government and business taking debt, Individuals are also being encouraged to spend more in the newly created shopping malls and leisure complexes and buy some of the new residential properties, thus taking on higher levels of personal indebtedness. So these Chinese people getting credit thrown at them left, right, and centre. All the youngsters will go out and buy this, go buy that, all the latest fashion stuff. By the time they get older, they've got all this debt to pay back. Which borrowed all on finance. These youngsters like now get the latest car out and be paying up finance for the next 6 years. Key learning points from section 4. That's one thing I've never done, is borrow money for a vehicle. I've always got brought up to afford it for yourself. If you can't afford it, don't have one. And quite frankly, I haven't got one. Shame when I've got all this education to give. Key learning point, and I need it for safety measures to, to look after and support my family. Key learning point from section 4. This section has looked at some of the drivers and consequences of rapid growth of Guangzhou, why China's pattern of development and the choices it is making might be of interest of social scientists, either in China or other parts of the world, such as in the UK. We'll look at the quantitative and qualitative evidence. I'm not even going to go onto that page. I'm just going to read it on the top of my head. We're going to look at quantitative data, which I believe is like a data survey. So like when you put, you're asking an audience, you've got 5 people, asking them a survey such as how many people do the washing up in the house. You've got 10 people, so you cross one. Now that could be more of a qualitative evidence, I think, actually, because you're asking a selective series of people and they're giving you a more specific answer. But asking data refers to data represented through numbers, while qualitative data refers to data that is represented through words or pictures. When social scientists want to gather evidence to support their challenge specific ideas, this is some of the stuff they use, which should count on their prevalence and extent of a particular phenomenon or belief within societies. We're going to look at different types of quantitative data. Different types of quantitative data. This is data collected by the researcher from their own purposes. This is likely to be a data collected through social surveys that have been developed by the researcher, ensuring that key questions are asked, and therefore the data generated are directly relevant to the primary research questions. Secondary data is the data already exists, for example, official statistics, company accounts, and routine monitoring data. Data is not collected for the purposes of the research home study, but contains relevant information. They may still provide useful evidence. Yeah, I'll read these. I haven't done them actually. I did do them. No, I'm not going to do it. I've done it already. I'm going to move on from that question. How does public debt differ to private debt? Public debt is exactly what I was just saying. Like, if you're buying money for infrastructure, it's going to be a public debt for the public good. The private debt is going to be more of a bad debt. It's for private use only. Public debt, you're more likely to get public debt than you are to get private debt, because it's for self-maintenance, whereas public debt is for the wider spectrum to get the economy moving. In order to questions relating to debt in China, it is important to be aware of the difference between debts taken out by private businesses or individual and debts incurred by the government. Governments spend money and take on debt so they can provide benefits and services to their citizens and spread the cost over all taxpayers and across a number of generations. In recent years, You'll likely have heard claims from governments in the UK, Europe and the United States about the need to cut government spending and the austerity measures that have followed from this. The political argument behind such measures is that it is possible for governments to spend too much money in relation to the taxes they collect, so they have an annual deficit in the budget that in turn will add to the accumulated amount of debt that the government owes. But as you will see in this section, some social scientists continue to question and debate this logic. Unlike the governments in the UK, Europe, the United States, the Chinese government has not tended to call less for less spending. However, it is possible that if they continue their model of debt fuel growth, there may come a time when they will have to cut back on their expenditures too. Although the future is unknown, it is useful to consider the relevance of current social science debates regarding public debt and its consequences, and apply them to Granzago's case study. We go back over this. I've read this about 6 times. I want it to sink in for everyone so it becomes clearer in evidence that you have listened and you are keeping this in. I want you to be with me on all of the readings. We've got some criminology and ethics to come up shortly as well. We're looking at debt related in China. It's important to be aware of the difference between debts taken out by private business or individuals and debts incurred by the government. Governments spend money and take on debt so they can provide benefits and services to their citizens and spread the cost over taxpayers across a number of generations in recent years. You will likely have heard claims from governments in the UK, Europe, and the United States about the need to cut government spending and the austerity measures that have followed from this. The political argument behind such measures, it is that it is possible for governments to spend too much in relation to the taxes they collect, so they'll have an annual deficit in their budget that it will add to the accumulated amount of debt that the government owes. But as you will see in the section, some social scientists continue to question the debate this logic. I was hoping this would be part of my assignment, because I really enjoy this understanding the debt, about what's the good debt and the bad debt. It's important that we know about money, isn't it? What keeps the economy going, because it's good. They've got reasons to make it good debt, to keep the economy going. People in work, keeping people in work, to keep, to get the essentials that you need, making the essentials that you need: phones, computer devices, walkie-talkies, all these things that you need in everyday life. What do walkie-talkies need? Police officers, any kind of security, even on building sites, you need them to speak to someone across the other end of the site. You need them. Site agents need them as well, so they can speak to the foremen on site. Foreman, your site foreman, yes, site foreman should need one on a specific job when he's so far away from the site manager. Absolutely. Oh yes, I think I read this. I'm done. Read this again. This is horrific. In Essex, Clapton man who spat at Essex police officer at the height of pandemic found dead. He had hepatitis C when he committed the crime. Shame, but shouldn't be spitting at a police officer. A man who spat at Essex police officer during the height of COVID-19 pandemic has died. This week, inquest opened at Essex Coroner's Court in the death of Christopher John Mall, 54, from Clacton-on-Sea. I don't wish that on anyone, really don't, but everyone should be careful of their sexual health and make sure you're getting checked all the time. I strongly advise it. Mr. Mall, at no fixed address, died on August 15, 2 months after being sentenced for spitting at a police officer in 2020. The 54-year-old who had hepatitis C carried out an attack during the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic. He appeared at Colchester Magistrates Court on June the 21st, admitting the charge of assaulting a police officer. Mr. Mall then given a 15-month suspended sentence of 16 weeks imprisonment. Additionally, he had to pay £100 compensation to the officer and a £128 victim surcharge. At an inquest, at an inquest on Tuesday, 5th October, into Mr. Mao's death, the court heard the 54-year-old died at the property in Edith Road, Clacton-C. He was found unresponsive at a flat by a friend on August 15th, ending despite police paramedics attending the scene. Mr. Mao was confirmed dead. I shouldn't say this because I know that road, and I know possibly why he's got hepatitis C. I'm not going to frame him in any picture because his family could listen. If he's got hepatitis C and Edith Road, we know what Edith Road is. Someone there is talking about the inequalities in society. They go to certain roads because of their I don't know if it's their lack of life chances, or they just gave up on wanting to have a life chance, and they end up with needles and whatnot. It's unfortunate, it could be someone's family and brother or sister at the end of the day, but it's unfortunate that he didn't get the help he received to get off the stuff he was on. He shouldn't be spitting in the police officer's face, but it's not to say he could have been a decent soul. The life of the family, could have been is a life of the family. So you can't put someone down. You cannot put someone down for their bad fortune. Some people just take the wrong turn in life, haven't got the help they needed, and it's gone too far for help. But God bless that man, and I can only be sorry for the police officer. They spat in his face. Don't deserve to be spit at. The professionals doing their job, but it's part and parcel with the job. It happens, I've done professional boxing. Getting punched in the head was the aim of the game. So I'm not going to walk in a boxing ring. No, I'm not going to get punched in the face. But ever so sorry that for the police officer that had to go through that. That's all I can say, really. I'm not going to put them down. I'm not going to put the guy that lost his life through it could be negligence of people not pointing out safety measures for his wealth and health. Who knows? But anyway, I want to say God bless, take care, and one love.